What's up, fam? Alright, the 73 Caprice. Here's our goal. I tell people all the time I don't do the wiring and install digital dashes, but I'll install them in the car. I think I'm gonna go ahead and hook this one up this time. We'll see. There's a couple things you had to do on here after removing all the gauges. This would be a nightmare doing the vehicle, I think. It would be harder, more difficult. So much easier if you're just going to remove everything, take the dashboard. There were some studs there that held the fuel gauge. I had to Dremel tool those off. I thought at first I had to cut the whole back out, but that is not the case. Is that all I cut? I cut the radio too. You know, it was a 2-knob radio. So this just has 3 holes on top that are going to use the existing screw holes there, one in the middle, one on the other end. And then on the back of this, we only have 2 plugs. So worst case, if I was not wiring this up, there it is, I would at least plug those in, screw this in, run the wires all into the dash where someone could get access to them and do all the wiring later. That way the dash wouldn't have to be taken apart. But like I said, see about hooking this one up. I did some fiberglass repairs here where the screw hole, bolt hole was broken half. So I fiberglassed both sides with a metal washer sandwiched in between. I don't know if I showed that on the last video. There it is again. I did mention the vents. I still have to do some cutting here. Did start removing the metal trim wood grain. You know, anything new you get, I'm pretty sure it's just a sticker. I don't know if they make them like this anymore. My next step, I'm trying to gather my thoughts and myself so I can get to work next. You get all these old gauges off my table. I did wire up the radio. I thought this was a higher end radio at first. I'll have to look up. I just had a problem with the 4-door Caprice. We were doing a cheap Alpine radio. It had RCA output of 2 volts and it sounded horrible. So we had put a Kenwood CD player, I forget the part number, it's one up from here, it's a $160 radio. It had a 4.5 or 5 volt RCA output. It made the 4-channel amp and subs sound twice as loud and way more quality. Don't know if that'll be a problem on this one or not. But it is wired up. All the Kenwood plugs are the same. Worst case, you could switch it out easy. Shrink wrapped. Tapped into the factory radio's hot and ground. Then I'm running ignition over there to tap into factory ignition wire here. So we get into the digital dash. I should be able to use most of the wires from all the emergency lights and blinker lights and stuff like that are in the cluster. I did remove steering wheel, sand the steering column, lower dash, remove the glove box cover, cleaned up vintage air, wiped it down. He brought some hoses, supposed to go with the kit. I hope it's enough. We'll see. I noticed we were missing the defrost vents, but the factory ones don't work, I guess, because they come down like a Y in the middle and would hit the vintage air. By the way, whoever hooked this up, it looks like they did a good job. Kudos. Motor swap too. I very rarely see good work. And the paint job's nice too, you know. Those first videos, I just had to go around and do the walkthrough. I cleaned up under the hood a little more too. I think I see one existing hole right there on the firewall. I don't know about suspending your zero gauge over this way to the battery. I kind of hate to drill a hole in this painted firewall. Oh, that's your windshield wiper motor right there. Alright. Vents. So the kit did come with some replacement defrost vents. The only thing that's weird about them is they're shorter than the vent itself. So whatever they're thinking to do with these screw holes, they just hit open air. So I'll customize something there when I'm wrapping the dash. So those will go with that. Let's get put everything in order. Still need to sand this glove box lid down. So ultimately I'm going to put this whole dash together, test fit it, get all the bolts, make sure everything fits correctly, and then take it back apart in reverse and start painting everything and wrapping the top. Wiring up for the digital dash. Then I can get to headliner, running the wires and Dynamat. Put the carpet in, start putting interior back. Be lovely when we get to that point. I'm sure I missed 5 or 10 other things I meant to talk about. This, I'm assuming this came with a plate that it sat in, possibly, the way these screws are on this circuit board. Some kind of spacing mounting plate. I'll have to make something. It's supposed to go here. You can look on the back if there's screw holes. There's not. I bet this piece has a plate or something that got screwed down here. I forget. I didn't take all this apart. It's been a while since I worked on a dump. 75 up there was one of the last ones I did a full interior on. That was a long time ago. That's why I don't do digital dashes. You need a lot of wires. But I'm gonna put my old man glasses on and get this book, this Bible-sized book out. I'm exaggerating. Start reading. Go one wire at a time. I think I can get 80%, 90% of that hooked up. You just have some stuff. Looks like somebody needs to tap into the motor for a temperature sensor. Maybe some other things like that under the hood. We'll let a mechanic finish those last things up. Let's see how far I get. Shoot a comment down below if you want to see the process on that. I'll share some more info on installing the digital dash. Yep. Alright, let me have my coffee, sit down a minute. I'm gonna start rocking and rolling. Peace.